The call came at 9:13 p.m. I was sitting in the study watching the ink dry on the final page of the sale agreement. 47 signatures, 6 months of negotiations. My company, my life's work, gone in exchange for silence and freedom. I poured a drink. The burden didn't taste like anything. That's when I heard her laugh from the kitchen. Not the soft one she used to give when she was tired, but the sharp, bright kind. The one she used when she wanted to hurt me while pretending not to. "You're selling your company? Good," she said, walking in with her phone still glowing in her hand. "Now you can finally afford the alimony." Her words hit like a blade slid under the ribs. She was already calculating what she'd take before I'd even told her the final price. I smiled. I even raised my glass to her. "Of course," I said. She thought she'd won, but she didn't know what I'd signed, or why. An hour later, her lawyer called. I could hear him screaming through the phone from across the room. Her face went pale. That's when I knew she finally realized what I'd done. It started months ago. Little things. Messages she hid when I entered the room. Late-night meetings that had nothing to do with work. A perfume on her coat that wasn't hers. I told myself it was stress. Marriage fatigue. I told myself I was paranoid. But then she began talking about me in past tense. How I was ambitious. How I used to make her feel safe. I started noticing the pauses between her words, the spaces where lies like to live. One night she came home late again, hair slightly undone, a faint red mark under her jaw. When I asked, she smiled too easily. "You're imagining things," she said, and kissed my cheek. That night I didn't sleep. The ceiling felt like it was pressing down. I went to the bathroom and stared at my reflection. Something in me snapped, not with rage, but with precision. I decided I wouldn't confront her. I would study her, the way she used to study me. Days became data points, patterns. I traced her calls through the company server. Old habit. I built the tracking systems myself. There was a number saved under a fake name, Clara. It wasn't Clara. It was him. A partner from her firm. Married. 2 kids. The kind of man who buys imported cigars and thinks secrecy makes him intelligent. I didn't confront her. I smiled more. I brought her coffee in bed. I asked about her day. I became predictable again. Safe. Meanwhile, I collected everything. Screenshots, receipts, the kind of evidence that doesn't leave bruises, only silence. There was one photo that ended it for me. Her, standing on the balcony of a hotel I'd taken her to once. His hand on her back. Her smile, real, alive, the one she used to reserve for me. I looked at it for a long time. Then I saved it, archived it, and closed the folder. She didn't know it yet, but the game had already ended. I began the sale of my company 2 weeks later. Publicly, it was about liquidity and freedom. Privately, it was about leverage. Because what she didn't know was that she owned nothing. Her shares, her half, her claim to my life's work, they were all held through a holding entity I'd quietly restructured 6 months earlier. A shell within a shell. And when I sold, everything bypassed her completely. Every cent wired to an account she couldn't touch. But I didn't want her to know right away. I wanted her to laugh first. When the deal finalized, I told her at dinner. "I signed the papers today," I said, cutting my steak. She smiled, the greedy kind. "Good. Now you can finally afford the alimony." I nodded, raised my glass. To closure. An hour later her phone rang. Her lawyer. The man's voice came through loud enough that I could hear every word. "Emily, what the hell did you do? You don't own anything. There's no marital asset. He transferred everything months ago." Her fork slipped from her hand. She looked at me. "What does he mean?" I didn't answer. I just sipped my drink. Her voice broke into a whisper. "You knew!" "I did," I said. She stood there trembling, trying to form words that wouldn't come. All the power she'd carried for months, her smirks, her coldness, fell away in seconds. And for the first time in a long while, the silence was mine. She followed me into the study, voice cracking now. "You planned this," she said. "You used me." I turned to face her. "No," I said. "I just learned from you." Her eyes darted to the desk. The sale documents were still there. My signature, clean, deliberate. Hers, nowhere. She started to cry, not from loss, but from humiliation. That's how I knew I'd won. "You can keep the house," I said, "the car, whatever you want, just not what you were really after." She stared at me. And what was that? My future. I picked up my coat, walked past her, and paused at the doorway. "You should answer your lawyer," I said. "He's still screaming." Then I left. I drove until the city lights thinned into darkness. The night air tasted clean. There was no victory in it, only quiet. But quiet is its own kind of freedom. I didn't hate her anymore. Hate requires care. I'd given her every chance to come clean. She chose the mask instead. So I let her keep it. I stopped the car at the edge of the bridge, watched the river move beneath me. My reflection broke and reformed with the current. In the end, she got what she wanted, a man who would finally let her go. And I got what I'd been denied for years, silence that didn't lie back. She thought she married a man she could manipulate. What she never realized was that she'd been living with her lesson all along.